So next on the agenda for today is to get the 50 cal set up for long range this fall going into winter. Take my earplugs out so I'm not yelling at you guys. So a while ago I had a Barrett M107A1 and I bought a suppressor for it. I since then had to get rid of that gun for some reasons. It took me a long time. I'd say I had the suppressor for 1.5 to 2 years before I could even mount it on this rifle here. I tried for close to a year to get the proper brake, and then I had to send this barrel in, get it threaded to match this brake. Since then, I've been able to shoot suppressed, and a lot of people ask me, why do you have a suppressor? Why do you need a suppressor? Well, to shoot this gun without a suppressor is like a cannon going off, and I have neighbors. I'd like to keep them. I don't want them complaining, getting upset. You know, I enjoy shooting, so I try to suppress everything I can for their sake. Plus, it helps my ears too. When I'm hunting, I like shooting suppressor. You're not blowing your ears up. Also, if you're in your house and you're going to defend yourself and you have a suppressor, you're going to keep your situational awareness. If you shoot, you're going to be deaf. And let's say you don't hit that guy and he's downstairs, he's moseying around. You don't know where he's at. If you have a suppressor, you don't give away your position. You don't have muzzle flash, you're not blinding yourself also, and you're also still going to keep your hearing, kind of keep your situational awareness. So there's huge advantages all around, whatever you want to do with them. Something I just noticed, you want to really pay attention to your 50 cal ammo. I had some sitting around here for a while, and this may have been a reload that I had paid a guy to do some reloads, but if you look here on this case, you're going to see a nice crack. I don't know if that's going to show up on there on film or not, but I just noticed a nice crack down this case. So that guy there, we're not going to use him. Gun would probably still be fine, but I'm just not going to risk it. I'm just going to shoot some cheap ball rounds at first here to kind of get it on paper, and then I'm going to officially run the 750 grain AMAX bullets. So this one here, I'm trying to set it up to shoot at a mile. So this one here has the same Barrett rings where you can adjust them from 10 MOA to 40 MOA. Same ring system I have on my AR-10. So this rail is 30 MOA, the rings are another 40. So the scope is pitched pretty good. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to get her dialed in at 100 yards. I'm not going to be able to zero it because I'm not going to be able to get my scope down far enough. So we're going to probably be hitting a foot and a half high at 100. I'm just trying to get my right and left set. Because I did take the scope off and go to the other pin slot. It's a single shot. It's a AR-50 made by Armalite. It's pretty nice system, very rugged, very stout. The gun I think is right around 40 pounds. Suppressor's another 4, and with the scope and everything, so it's heavy. There's not a lot of recoil. Even with the suppressor, it's pretty noisy. You can't really suppress a supersonic shot that well. It's still loud. The bullet's still breaking the sound barrier. Several guys on YouTube have done tests where they actually put a sound meter down range, and the gunshot down range is the same suppressed versus non-suppressed because you're hearing the bullet breaking the sound barrier. So it helps at the shooter ear, kind of helps the surrounding area. Doesn't really help a ton down range. One thing that I did hear that why the military liked the suppressors is that when they were shooting in like a dusty condition, they're not giving away their position. This thing will light up a huge dust cloud if you shoot it in dusty conditions. I don't even shoot it prone unless you're on a tarp because it just blows so much dust back in your face, in your scope. But the suppressor helps a lot with that, so that's one huge plus. Alright, we'll get a couple shots going here and we'll see how we do. In my bore sight that I just did at 100 yards, it does appear I'll be quite a bit higher than I thought. It could be 2.5 feet high at 100. That's as low as I can get the scope, but that should get me out to the mile. I have plenty of adjustment out there. If not, maybe I can even get out to 2,000 yards. In the past, with my old Barrett, I did shoot out to 1925. A pulled shot was about 10 feet off, whether it be 10 feet right, 10 feet left. So a pulled shot, bad shot, about 20-foot group. Consistently, I would say 80% of our shots, we were holding probably a 6-foot group. And then my best group I had was 3 shots in a row with a 19-inch group. I have some pictures, maybe I'll post those later. But this is a better platform for long-range shooting than the semi-automatic Barrett for several reasons. But we'll take a shot here, see how it goes, and we'll go from there. gun down range and see where that put us. If I didn't have that suppressor, there's no way I could shoot here, so we'll see if I get any phone calls. Kind of just as I thought. I was aiming down there at the bottom square, and my bullet impact was right up here. So at 100 yards, let's say that's about a foot, 2 feet, yeah, 2.5, 3 feet high, roughly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my reticle back on here, make sure my gun is level, see where my reticle is up here, and then see how many mils I am to the right or to the left, and just adjust my scope accordingly. My height I can't do anything about, I'm just adjusting my right and left. And then find out how many mils I am high, record that in my book, and that'll give me my arc, because I'm pretty confident with my, what they call it, dope, data of previous engagements. So I know the arc of the gun, I can dial all this in and get a rough zero where the gun is sighted in. So it'll tell me how many mils I'm high at 100, and let's say it's 10 mils, and I know, okay, at 1,000 yards last year I had to dial in 10 mils, so now I know that I'm 10 mils high here at 100. At 1,000 yards, that's my zero. That's kind of how you do it. So, all right, we'll go back and we'll see. Mosquitoes are killing me. Kind of hard to do, so what I'm doing here is I'm just leveling in my reticle, so I have a level on my scope. On that bottom black dot there, running the line all the way up to where the bullet hole is. I'm just seeing how many mils I am. So it looks like I'm about 0.4 mils to the right. So I need to go about 0.4 mils left, and I know my gun's level, and it's leveled off that bottom dot. And then I know my right and left is pretty good, close anyhow. And we do have a little left to right wind, but that's what we're going to use here. And then I'm going to use these mil markings in my reticle to count how many mils high I am at 100 yards, and I'll use that later in my data to find out what my true zero is. Hope this information helps you out a little bit if you're in long range shooting or you want to get into it. Alright, I counted it out. The bottom big black bar you see there is right at my point of aim, and my reticle is right up where the bullet impacted. So from the bottom of the bar up to that reticle is actually 10 mils. So I am 10 mils high at 100 yards. And 1 mil is 3.6 inches. So 3.6 times 10 is 36 inches. So I'm 3 feet high at 100 yards. That's kind of how you use these reticles. You can actually use these reticle to range targets. So if you have a target that you know the height on it in inches, or maybe the width. Some tactical teams will measure car rims or mailboxes or doors and windows, and they have a known target size in inches, and you can use this reticle. And how you do that is you take target size in inches times 27.77 and then divide it by how many mils. So for example here, we could say, oh, these drums are 2 feet wide. All right, so that's 24 inches times 27.77. Then you divide it by how many mils it is wide in your scope. So I can't do it here through the phone very well. I can't see it that great. But you do that formula, it'll pop out and say, oh, you're 100 yards away. So it's pretty simple to use these reticles to range targets. And there's several different formulas, but that's the one I use. I hope you enjoyed your range session for today. Put a little bit of teaching in there and some lessons. And if you guys have any comments or feedback, hopefully we can keep it all tasteful and help each other out. That's kind of what I'm here trying to do. I'm not making any money off this. I'm just trying to share what I know, and by no means do I know everything. I don't. I just play. This is fun. It's just my sport that I do. It keeps me busy. Reload during the winter when it's freezing cold out. So if you guys have any things you want to share, go right on ahead. If I messed you up at all, I apologize. I'll try better next time. So take care. Bye.